We're ready.
Shauan, what do you want to gain from this trip overseas?
Mostly just really the experience and us being together and our team to get tighter and you know, obviously to bond and just be more together. And then from the basketball perspective, I think more so just for the younger and our new guys to give them an opportunity to see how they look in live action, be able to get some different lineups out there. So I think it's going to be most beneficial for our freshmen and transfers.
The last couple times we've talked to you, depth has been a big, I'm assuming there's a trust you've got to build in some of those guys to tap into that. So how important is this to maybe kind of keep building some of that trust to get that depth?
Yeah, I think it's really important because obviously practice is one thing and we've been, able to compete and go a lot of 5-on-5, but to have an actual game setting, I think is going to be a huge benefit that we don't have to wait till November. We can see what they look like when the lights are bright and then, we can also then see what we need to work on. So I think this is going to be a really great opportunity for, again, mostly our new guys, obviously our returners. It'll be fun to have them out there on the court, but more so to see what everyone else looks like.
Since they're exhibitions, will you approach the games any differently in terms of just a normal game, or is there stops and starts and running things to get things in?
We put not everything, our whole playbook's not in. We got enough to do what we need to do. Our defensive philosophy is pretty simple, so our defense is in. We're going to treat it like a game. I don't know. I'm going to play a lot more people and may even hold, our older guys. If we're not going to be playing 40 minutes a game, try to get them some run, but then get a lot more minutes for everyone else. I want to win if I do anything, if I'm playing, knockout, but we want to win the games, but it's way more than no one cares if you win these games. It's about, are you getting better, are you getting experience, and what can we learn, and can we instill some confidence too in some of our new people.
Some coaches will split up, will split up their coaching duties, and will you do that, or will you coach all of them?
I've never done that before, and I'm not planning on it. I know a lot of people do that, but I also think, and I thought about it, but then I also think it's important for our new people to get used to how I am in the game too. And so I kind of went with that. Like, they need to know what my voice sounds like. Our returners know enough, and they probably want someone else to coach the game besides me, so they don't have to hear me. But I think our new people need to understand, and then I can help them with that. So I'll coach.
You've kind of spoken just about Dale and her leadership and how that's kind of come along. What have you maybe seen from her this summer, getting to this point of her senior year?
I just think her she's being so vocal, and that's something we've continued to talk about, for the years leading into this. And I also think all of our seniors, the senior group is they're in the mindset of, I want to have no regrets, and I want to end on the highest note we can, and I'm going to be willing to do whatever it takes to do that. And she knows that's what we need of her. And she's been doing a really great job of that. And also when she's talking and being that vocal leader, now she's not able to get into her own head and focus on her own mistakes if there are. And that's the best thing as any player can be. The more you pour into others, the less time in your own head you have. And you're going to be able to play freer. So she's been great this summer.
You've also spoken just about Makaira and her being here the whole summer and her health being there. How has that maybe benefited her, and what have you kind of seen from her development this summer?
Yeah, I've said this. It's her first full summer in her college career, because you go back, we had COVID right when she was a freshman, and then you kind of go through some of her different injuries and things where she was sidelined for throughout her summer. So it's great. She's again, I just continue to say we have to remain healthy. It's any team in the country saying the same thing. If we stay healthy, I think we can have a really special season. And if, you just can't afford to have any injuries. So her being healthy has therefore allowed her to progress, and she's playing. I think she's in the best condition she's been in. She's in a really confident mindset. She's in a really good place in all aspects, and you can see it on the court. She's doing some things, and even our staff, and I've now been around her, going in 5 years, it's like, man, she just did that. She just is a special talent and a special player.
I don't know if we've asked you about Irene, since you guys got her. I'm assuming she'll be on the trip. And
yes.
What's important for her, kind of getting here a little later, and what does she bring to you guys?
Yeah, with Irene, I'm just I tell her every day, like, you're doing a great, she wants to come in and act like she's been here for 7. I'm like, Irene, you're only here. I think she's day 4, full practice. And there's so much to learn, and it's really hard. So I'm just telling her, give yourself some grace. It's not going to just all come. It's not going to happen overnight. She's doing a great job. Her IQ is very high, so she picks up very quickly of what we're teaching. I mean, she knows all the plays. She knows it, and that's only in a week's time. So I'm really proud of her for how she's just adapting and picking up. I talked to her yesterday, and we were in meeting with her just about, it's still taking her a second to what we're saying to translate it. Now she's kind of a step slow in her talking. She used to calling out a ball screen in Spanish, and now she's trying not to say screen left or right, and and she says it just takes me a second. So I'm like, we're just working on a few words a day to get her to say that, and really even today I'm like, I may even just have her just call it out right now and speak in Spanish if you want, just so she's talking. So she's doing great. I'm really excited about, what she can be, how great of a player she can be. But again, she's just not even just the basketball. She's learning everything new about America. So it's been a whirlwind for her.
Outside of basketball, is there some fun stuff you're looking forward to experiencing with the team?
Yeah, I mean, there's only 2 games, and like I said, we had a meeting today, and I said, the day of the game, one of them, we're doing a pizza making class before the game. I'm like, our game days are never going to look like this again, but enjoy it. That's my big. I want us to enjoy that. This is for all of us. This is a once in a lifetime trip. I've gone on a few of these trips with teams before, and I always leave saying, man, that was the best trip I've ever had. So there is just going to be an unbelievable experience of the culture of the team. So the basketball is important, but we have, bike tours and pizza making classes and, local food tasting. And I mean, we're going to see a ton of different just historical sites and experience our culture. So our team, I'll tell you one thing, they're super excited. Practice has been high energy the last 2 days with leading to this trip.
Speaking of kind of cultural things, I mean, there's a video of your players kind of learning Italian phrases and stuff like that. Just, I mean, how important is that, just kind of embracing something different and new for these players to get that kind of experience?
That's what this is about, and that's why we're doing these trips. And I want them to, I talked to them today, we're not having phones at dinner. We're going to try to embrace the moment and live in the moment, embrace our culture. They enjoy their dinners. They enjoy the bonding at a dinner. It's an event, and I want them to just really take it all in and to be present, enjoy one another. So that's what this trip is about.
Have you had any eyes on the Olympic Games and anything stood out to you about the women's games, that is?
I wish I said I'm not. This July has been so busy. We've been gone every weekend, our coaching staff recruiting. We leave Thursday, we don't get back till Monday. And then we've had official visits come in that day we get back, and then usually our Tuesdays and Wednesdays are official visit, and then we leave again. So it has been so busy. I haven't even really had time, unfortunately, to watch a lot of the Olympics. Hopefully I'll get some time maybe later today and tomorrow while we're traveling on my phone I can watch some, but I haven't. It's just been so busy this summer.
You talked about this trip for your seniors, kind of going out with something like this. How can this kickstart what they hope is a big season and kind of parlay that into the fall?
I think it's, for so many reasons, I think it's awesome that it worked out. We held it off to this year, that they kind of get this last, those 3 came back, and then with Dal and Brandon, it's kind of like that core group that really took this programming and got it back to where, we're relevant and we're competing and people know what Illinois, women's basketball is now. And that's that senior group. And that senior group is really special to me. They'll always be special, and I think they're always going to hold a place in history here in this program, because they're the ones who believed when they had every reason not to believe. Our transfers came in, they had every reason not to come here. Dow stayed, KB stayed. And they believed in something that, again, wasn't even here. So for them, they always, they're that group that kind of brought us there. So for them to have this trip is really, really special. And then for our younger guys to be able to learn, to just even learn from them, I think will propel this going into years to come, with culture, with standards, with how we do everything.
With that group, how do you stay in the moment with them? They mean a lot to you, obviously. So how do you make sure you stay in, whether it's a July practice or this trip? How do you personally kind of stay there?
It's funny you ask that, because that my thing this year is I'm really just trying to enjoy it. So like my word, we're all gonna have a word, like mine, like just joy. Like I really want to try to enjoy this group and be present in it. Like they're gonna drive me crazy at times, I'm gonna yell at them, but we've laughed a lot this summer, and we've had a lot of fun, but we've put really hard work in, and I think you can do both. So for me, I'm just trying to stay really present and know, like, this is, with that group, last year you kind of knew there was a possibility of another year. Like, this is the end of that group, and I'm gonna take it all in. I appreciate them so much, and we're gonna have fun, but we want to win a lot of games doing that.
And the shared experience of a trip like that, you really see that kind of, I guess, bring a team together in a sense, especially when you're adding in new transfers and freshmen and all that.
It really does. Going through an experience like this where, some of these things are, again, something you've never done in your life or some life-changing moments, to do it together is pretty special, and it's unique. And no doubt I've seen in years past of taking these trips and then going into a season, you're definitely more connected. You definitely share some deeper bonds, and hopefully that'll show up in crucial moments, tight games, where we can reflect back, and some of these relationships and bonds and experiences can help us pull out some wins.
Last month, Josh mentioned you guys were in conversations about a contract extension. So what's that belief in the program, in the university, mean to you, and how does that help you as you more years on that, as you build this program for the future?
I mean, I think anywhere you are, right, like the belief and the trust between one another and the shared vision is a critical piece. It's why I came to Illinois, was because of Josh, so I know he believes in what I'm doing and we are doing as a staff, and I appreciate that belief. And I think when you have those shared goals and visions, and can you trust one another in that, it makes everyone feel better and feel more confident, and also again, no one or nothing is going to put more pressure or more stress than I am on myself. So we came here to win. I want to win. I don't care if I'm here or anywhere. Like, I want to win, and that's the goal. So that's what we plan to do. But obviously it's always nice to know your administration has confidence in you, and to see that in an extension.
Year 3, you've kind of just spoken about just how far ahead you feel like you are compared to past summers. How have you maybe seen that kind of show up in the practice gym or wherever, just different aspects of the program?
I see it in a lot of different areas, but it's just nice. The competition, we've been able to compete a lot this summer. And I think going into this year too, we kind of have our team's old or they're fairly young. We don't have a lot of juniors. So I'm going to have to be really intentional this year of managing even practice, and where a lot of our younger guys need reps. Some of our older guys, they don't need as many reps, and in order for them to sustain and remain healthy and be fresh. So we're probably, our practice times, we're not going to be able to practice 2.5 hours and every single day. So I'm going to be very conscious of that. Even just seeing now from the summer, like, we can't keep at this grind and this pace for a whole year. But I think just being that far ahead, getting stuff in, now you're not going to be in the fall trying to cram a million things in and teach a million things, because we got our defense in, we got a lot of our offense in. Obviously we'll continue to put in sets. The core values, the standards are already established, and we've been able to compete a lot. So I also now know some of their competitive spirit and drive, some of the new guys, of what they look like when things get tough.